The bell above the door jingled, but I didn't hear it. My fingers froze around the envelope, the paper crisp, almost cold to the touch. No sender. Just my name scrawled in a handwriting I didn't recognize. I should have tossed it. I should have thought it was a prank. But something in me, a curiosity, maybe, made me tear it open. Inside, a card. Merry Christmas. Expect the unexpected. And underneath, a small velvet box. I held it close, heart thudding. The kind of thudding that felt dangerous, like it belonged to someone who wasn't supposed to care about me. I opened it. Inside, a simple silver necklace, delicate but flawless. It sparkled in the low light of my apartment, like it knew all my secrets already. A laugh escaped me. Nervous, sharp. Who would send this? Someone watching me? Someone powerful? My phone buzzed, but no message, no number. Just silence, and that quiet, unsettling feeling that the gift was more than just jewelry. I watched her open it from my car across the street. I never imagined a game of secrecy would make my chest tighten. Yet here I was, controlling everything but powerless to hide this small thrill. The silver necklace was the right choice. Simple, elegant, dangerous in its subtlety. It wasn't meant to impress, at least not in the way the world understood. It was meant to speak. To her. Every move she made, her hesitation, the way she traced the necklace with her finger, it burned in me. I was the black rose of the city, untouchable, ruthless. And yet, I had just handed a piece of my heart through velvet and handwriting. And tomorrow, she wouldn't know it came from me. She'd only feel the presence, the shadow. I put the necklace on and felt something, not joy, not fear, something heavier, a weight that pressed against the edges of my heart and whispered of stories I wasn't supposed to be part of. I sat by the window, watching the lights of the city blur with the snow beginning to fall. A part of me wanted to run, to call someone, anyone. Another part wanted to follow this mystery, to know who had dared to reach across my world into mine. The bell jingled again in my apartment lobby. A delivery, a neighbor, nothing unusual. And yet, I felt it, the shadow that had already entered my life. Tonight was a test, a small, calculated intrusion into her life. The city never knew the softest part of me, the part one reserved for those who mattered, and she mattered more than I could admit. I started the engine and drove away, disappearing into the night. But the thought of her alone in her apartment, wearing the gift, tracing it with uncertain fingers, that thought would follow me, haunt me, until the next move. I couldn't stop thinking about the necklace. Every time I caught my reflection, I traced its delicate chain with my finger, half expecting it to whisper the name of the person who sent it. But the silence was louder than anything else. I asked my friends. No one knew. No one had seen anyone near my apartment. I even checked the lobby cameras, my pulse spiking when I realized someone had lingered outside, just for a moment, but the footage was too blurry to tell anything. My gut told me it wasn't just luck. It wasn't a coincidence. I had to know. And yet, I feared the answer. Luca. She thinks she's in control. She searches, she asks, she probes. But I'm always one step ahead, watching from shadows she doesn't notice. Each gift, each note, is a thread I pull carefully, an invisible web that leads her closer to me without her realizing. I can't let her see me, not yet, not until she's ready. But every time she touches that necklace, every time her eyes flicker with curiosity and a hint of fear, it's like breathing fire into my chest. I should be ruthless, untouchable, but I feel exposed. I tried to act normal, even smiled at strangers in the lobby, pretended nothing was wrong. But at night, I imagined eyes in the darkness, hands leaving gifts I hadn't seen being delivered. The city outside my window blurred into shadows that whispered promises I didn't dare trust. And still, part of me wanted the mystery to continue. The small thrill of knowing someone was watching, thinking of me. Dangerous or not, it made me feel alive. I sent the second gift tonight. Something small, personal, a scarf in her favorite color, soft, something she noticed but not recognize as mine. I know her routine. I know the way she pauses at the corner bakery, the way her fingers brush against her hair when she's nervous. Tonight, she'll see it. Tonight, she'll wonder again. And each time, she'll feel that tiny spark, the one that binds curiosity, fear, and something softer. something she doesn't yet understand. The scarf arrived the next morning, wrapped in paper as red as the winter berries outside. I held it to my face, inhaled the faint scent of something familiar but strange, leather, cologne, maybe perfume I couldn't place. I wanted to throw it away. I wanted to hide it, but I couldn't. I folded it neatly and left it on my dresser, knowing, somehow, it wasn't just a gift. It was a message, and whoever was sending them, they were closer than I realized. I watched her from a distance as she unfolded the scarf. Her expression changed: confusion, recognition, curiosity. A smile almost broke through, delicate and fleeting. I held my breath. That small, human reaction, the part of her I didn't get to see often, is the reason I take risks. Tonight, the game continues. But soon, very soon, the mask will slip. And when it does, she won't just see me. She'll see everything I am. The cafe was warm, a small bubble of light against the winter gray outside. I sat by the window, trying to focus on my latte, but my mind was elsewhere, on the scarf, the necklace, the strange thrill that had settled like a pulse beneath my skin. And then I saw him. Tall, dark, impeccably dressed, like he stepped out of a world I only glimpsed in magazines. His eyes scanned the room, sharp, calculating, and somehow softer when they flicked to me. My chest tightened. I didn't know why. I told myself it was just a coincidence. But when our eyes met, the world felt smaller, quieter, like we were alone in the hum of the cafe. She didn't recognize me. Not yet. Good. That's how it should be. I wanted this first encounter to be organic, fragile. I could have revealed myself, commanded attention, shown her who I was. But that would have shattered the moment. Instead, I let the soft curls of her hair catch the morning light. Let the faint tension in her fingers as she sipped her latte speak. I wanted her to feel curiosity, the edge of fear, and something sweeter, something like trust that had no name yet. And when her hands brushed as I reached for my coffee, I felt it, that tiny spark, the connection that doesn't need words that I felt it too, a shiver that had nothing to do with the cold. My fingers lingered on the cup, brushing against his, and for a moment the cafe, the street, the city, all of it faded. I should have looked away, told myself it was nothing. But I didn't. I couldn't. Something about him was magnetic, dangerous, yet inviting. I want to ask her name, where she lived, everything. But I didn't. I let her sip her latte, pretended not to notice the way she kept glancing at the small necklace glinting under her scarf. Every small detail told me more than words could. The thrill of restraint, of letting her curiosity build, was unbearable. I had to leave eventually, but not before leaving a hint. A slip of paper, barely noticeable, left on the edge of the table as I stood. See you soon. When I looked down, the paper was there. My heart raced. Who was this man? Why did my chest feel so exposed, so raw? I clutched the note, feeling the weight of its promise, of the mystery that had become my life. And when he left, I realized I was waiting for him. Already, days passed, and the city felt smaller, tighter, as if every street corner and cafe carried the echo of him. The scarf, the necklace, the note, all of it lingered like invisible threads tugging at my heart. I tried to focus on work, on friends, on normal life. But normal life didn't exist anymore. Not when I felt the brush of someone's presence, even when I was alone. And then I saw him again. Not at the cafe this time, but across the street, waiting as if he knew I'd be there. My chest froze. I should have turned away, disappeared into the crowd, but I didn't. I waited for her, letting the moment stretch. She didn't run. That alone told me more than words could. Her eyes flickered between fear and fascination, curiosity and hesitation. I wanted to speak, to tell her everything, every secret I had kept behind walls of power and control. But I couldn't, not yet. I could only show her a piece of me through small acts. A hand extended across the table, a quiet smile, a glance that lingered just long enough. "I've been watching over you," I said softly, careful not to startle her. The words made my stomach twist. Watching over me? Was it danger? Protection? Or something more? I wanted to recoil. I wanted to push him away. But I didn't. Instead, I whispered, "Why me?" It was a foolish question, and yet it felt like the only one that mattered. "Because you matter," I said, letting the words hang between us. Not in a boast, not in power, but in truth, in the rare, dangerous truth that no one ever sees from someone like me. Her eyes softened, a mix of disbelief and something I hadn't expected, trust. A fragile, trembling trust, like snow on a branch ready to fall. I know it's sudden, I continued, but I couldn't let you walk through this city unaware. Not from me, not from anyone. Her words should have terrified me. They should have made me run. And yet, the warmth in his voice, the careful honesty in his eyes, it cracked something inside me. For the first time, I allowed myself to feel curiosity without fear, connection without suspicion. The risk was there, unmistakable. But so was the pull. I reached for her hand, almost hesitating, almost retreating. But I couldn't. The warmth of her fingers against mine was a promise neither of us dared to name yet. "I'll protect you," I said softly. Not as a boss, not as a shadow, but as someone who finally cared. Her grip tightened, and for a moment, the city, the danger, the world, it all disappeared. Tonight, I couldn't wait any longer. Every gift, every note, every stolen glance, it all led to this moment. She had to know. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now, the city streets were quiet under the soft snowfall. I watched her from across the street, bundled in her coat, her scarf wrapped tightly. The necklace caught the streetlight, glinting like a tiny secret between us. I stepped forward, heart heavier than usual. The danger I carried, the life I led, it all threatened to crush the fragile trust we had built. But I had to risk it. I didn't expect him to appear so suddenly, standing at the edge of the park, hands in pockets, the winter air brushing his face. My pulse quickened. Something in his stance, in the tilt of his head, it felt like he was about to tell me everything, and I wasn't sure I was ready. He approached slowly, eyes locked on mine. "Amara," he said softly. My name, spoken like a secret, made the world tilt. I have to tell you something." I reached into my coat and held out a small envelope. All the gifts, the notes, the scarves, the necklace. I hesitated, searching her eyes for fear, for anger. "I sent them. I am your secret Santa." Her breath hitched. I could see every thought flicker across her face, shock, disbelief, a flicker of fear, and then curiosity. "I know it's a lot," I continued, voice low. "I know who I am, what I am, but none of that changes what I feel for you." I took the envelope, trembling. Every nerve in my body screamed that I should run, that this man, this dangerous, untouchable figure, was someone I should fear. And yet, I didn't run. Something deeper pulled me forward. I looked into his eyes, searching for truth, and found it there. Not the shadow of the Mafia Boss, not the city's Black Rose, but a man who wanted me to trust him. "Why?" I whispered, voice barely audible. "Because you mattered," he said, echoing the words I couldn't stop thinking about. "Because you're the only one who ever made me feel human." I waited for her to recoil, to push away, to reject the confession. But she didn't. Her fingers lingered on the envelope. Her eyes softened. "I don't understand," she admitted. "I don't know how I can." "You don't have to," I said. "Not yet. Just let me show you." Her gaze held mine, and in that fragile, fleeting moment, I knew the game had changed. No longer just secrecy and gifts. It was real now. It was dangerous, and it was ours. The city was quiet, blanketed in the soft hush of falling snow. I walked through the park, the envelope from Luca still clutched in my hand. My heart raced, not with fear, but with something new, something I hadn't felt in a long time. Anticipation. I knew the risk. I knew the questions. Who is he really? Why me? What happens if this connection is discovered? And yet, none of that stopped me from wanting to see him again. When I reached the bench where he waited, the streetlight casting a golden halo around him, I felt a strange sense of safety. Dangerous, yet comforting. My pulse quickened, but not from fear, because I wanted to be near him. I saw her approach and couldn't hide the small smile tugging at my lips. She knew something had changed between us, though not everything. She held the envelope like it contained her heart. In some ways, it did. I stood as she neared, letting her space settle the tension between us. "I know this is unusual," I said softly, "but you don't have to understand everything right now. Just trust that I care." Her eyes searched mine, hesitant but curious. That pause, that silent weighing of risk and desire, was the moment I lived for. She could walk away. She could stay. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't try to control it. I let her choice exist freely. I did stay, slowly, deliberately. I sat beside him, letting the snow settle quietly around us. The scarf, the necklace, the notes, they were all pieces of him I was beginning to understand, and somehow pieces I wanted to keep close. Why me? I asked again, softer this time. Not accusing, not afraid, just wondering. Because you see the world differently, he said, his voice low, almost a whisper. Because you make me want better. Not the city, not power, just this. You. I reached for her hand, and this time she didn't hesitate. Our fingers intertwined, warm against the chill of winter. The tension was still there, not from danger in the streets, but from the fragility of trust, from the unknown of what we were starting. I leaned closer, careful, watching her eyes. Nothing outside matters right now, I murmured. Just us here tonight. Her lips curved into the faintest smile. A laugh, soft and trembling, escaped her. Then maybe that's enough. It was enough. The snow fell heavier now, blanketing the city in white. And for the first time, I let myself breathe. Not because the mystery was gone, not because the questions were answered, but because I chose to trust him. And somehow, just for tonight, that felt like the bravest thing I could do. The snow had stopped by morning, leaving the city sparkling in quiet light. I held the necklace in my hand, tracing its curve, feeling the weight of what had begun. It wasn't just a gift anymore. It was a connection, a choice, a promise I hadn't fully understood, but had decided to accept. I smiled softly. The world outside still buzzed with noise, ambition, and uncertainty. But here, in this fragile bubble of trust, I felt seen. I watched her from a distance, knowing she could never fully understand me. The power I wielded, the life I led, it was a world she shouldn't belong to. And yet she did. Her trust, her laughter, the subtle way she moved through the snow. It was more than any gift, any gesture, any plan. She had entered my shadowed world, and I let her stay. I tucked the necklace beneath my coat and stepped into the morning light, feeling the quiet thrill of the unknown ahead. There were questions, there were risks, and there were moments I couldn't yet name. But I was ready to face them. With him, the city stretched endlessly before me. But for the first time, the streets felt softer, the night less heavy. She had chosen to stay, even for a moment, and in that choice I found a rare peace. Our story was only beginning, and I would guard it, carefully, fiercely, in the shadows and the light.